I thought I knew betrayal, but nothing prepared me for the moment I saw her walk out of that motel. My wife. My Emily. 10 years married. And there she was, arm in arm with some guy, laughing like the world was hers. My stomach twisted so hard I thought I'd puke right there in the parking lot. But I didn't confront her. No, I drove home, hands shaking on the wheel, and laid out the anniversary gift I'd been planning for months. A gift that'd make her heart stop. If you're listening, stick around because this story's gonna hit you hard. And please, hit that subscribe button, leave a comment. It helps keep this channel going. That morning started like any other. Woke up to the smell of burnt toast. Emily's signature move in the kitchen. She was humming some old Taylor Swift song, barefoot, her hair a mess. God, I loved her like that. Messy, real. We were supposed to celebrate our 10th anniversary that night. I'd planned everything. Dinner at her favorite Italian spot, Luigi's, where the tiramisu's so good it's practically a sin. A drive to the lake where we got engaged, and a gift. A necklace with a locket, engraved with forever. Cheesy, sure, but she loved that stuff. Or so I thought. I kissed her forehead, told her I'd be home early, and headed to work, my heart full, oblivious. Work was a blur. I'm a mechanic, so my days are grease, sweat, and the hum of engines. Fixed a busted carburetor, joked with the guys about my big night. Gonna make her cry happy tears, I said, showing off the locket. They razzied me, called me a sap. I didn't care. I was living the American dream, house in the Chicago suburbs, 2 cars, a wife who still made my pulse race. Or so I thought. Driving home, I took the scenic route, past the strip mall with the neon signs and the dive bar where we used to shoot pool. That's when I saw her. Emily. My Emily. Stepping out of the Starlight Motel, a seedy joint off Route 83. She was wearing that red dress I loved, the one she said made her feel like $1,000,000. But it wasn't me she was with. Some guy, tall, slick, like he stepped out of a cologne ad, had his arm around her waist. Her laugh hit me like a punch. I pulled into the lot, heart hammering, and watched them get into a black BMW. Not our car. His. I didn't scream, didn't honk, just sat there, gripping the wheel, my knuckles white. The world felt wrong, like someone had tilted it and I was sliding off. Was this real? My wife? 10 years, 2 miscarriages, a mortgage, all those late-night talks about our future? And she's at a motel? With him? I wanted to storm over, demand answers, but something stopped me. Maybe it was fear. Maybe it was the locket burning a hole in my pocket. God, I felt so stupid. I drove home. Didn't even cry. Not yet. When I got there, Emily wasn't back. The house was quiet, too quiet, like it knew something I didn't. I sat at the kitchen table, the locket in one hand, my phone in the other. That's when I started digging. Call it instinct, call it paranoia, but I opened her laptop. Password was still our wedding date, which stung, and checked her email. Nothing obvious. Then I saw it. A folder labeled work stuff. Emily's a graphic designer, so I didn't think twice about it before. But there, buried in subfolders, were emails. Dozens of them. From Mark. Pet names, plans, mentions of our spot at the Starlight. My chest tightened. Each word was a knife. But it wasn't just emails. There were receipts, PayPal transfers, Venmo payments. Hundreds of dollars. To him. For consulting. Consulting what? Her heart? Her body? I printed them out, my hands shaking so bad the paper jammed twice. Then I found the photos. Not nudes, thank God, but close enough. Selfies of them at some rooftop bar, her smiling like she used to smile at me. I felt like I was drowning. Like the air in our cozy little kitchen had turned to water. By the time Emily walked in, I was calm. Too calm. She breezed through the door, still in that red dress, her cheeks flushed. Hey, babe. Traffic was a nightmare. Ready for our big night. Her voice was so normal, like she hadn't just ripped my world apart. I smiled, don't know how, and handed her a glass of wine. Let's make it special, I said, my voice steady, though inside I was screaming. She didn't notice, didn't see the storm in my eyes. Or maybe she did and chose to ignore it. We drove to Luigi's. She chatted about her day, some client who loved her logo design. I nodded, played along, but every word felt like a lie. At the restaurant, we sat by the window, candles flickering. She looked beautiful, and I hated her for it. Hated myself for still noticing. I ordered her favorite, chicken parm, and she reached for my hand. "You okay, Tom? You seem off." "Off? Yeah, Emily, I'm off because I saw you with him." But I didn't say that. Instead, I pulled out the gift. "Happy anniversary," I said, sliding the envelope across the table. Not the locket. That was back in my pocket, a dead weight. The envelope was thick, stuffed with the emails, receipts, photos, and, oh yeah, divorce papers I'd printed from a template online. Her smile faltered as she opened it. Her eyes scanned the first page, then the next. Her face went pale. "Tom, what is this?" she whispered, her voice breaking. I leaned in, my voice low, steady, like I was diagnosing a bad engine. "You tell me, Emily. Who's Mark?" Her fork clattered to the plate. People at nearby tables glanced over, but I didn't care. She stammered, eyes wide, like a deer caught in headlights. It's not what you think." Classic. I almost laughed. "Not what I think. I saw you, Starlight Motel. Today." Her mouth opened, closed like a fish gasping for air. No words came out. For the first time in 10 years, I saw her for who she was. Not my Emily. Someone else. I stood, tossed my napkin on the table. "Keep the necklace," I said, though I hadn't given it to her. "You'll need something to pawn." And I walked out, her sobs echoing behind me. The night air hit my face, cool and sharp, like a wake-up call. I didn't look back. Not once. The air outside Luigi's was crisp, cutting through the fog in my head. I walked to my truck, the gravel crunching under my boots, each step heavier than the last. My chest was tight, like someone had parked a semi on it. I could still hear Emily's sobs through the restaurant door, but they didn't pull me back. Not this time. God, was I really doing this? I got in, slammed the door, and just sat there, staring at the dashboard. The locket was still in my pocket, its weight mocking me. 10 years. 10 years, and it ends like this? If you're still with me, this story's about to get messy. Hit that like button. Share your thoughts below. It keeps this channel alive. Driving home, the world looked different. The neon signs along Route 83, the ones I'd passed 1,000 times, seemed too bright, too fake. Like Emily's smile earlier. I kept replaying that moment at the motel, her laugh, his arm around her. Mark. Who the hell was Mark? The emails called him consultant, but consultants don't meet at the Starlight. Consultants don't get pet names like Babe. My hands gripped the wheel so hard my knuckles ached. I wanted to hate her, but part of me, stupid, stubborn part, still loved her. That's the worst kind of betrayal, isn't it? When your heart doesn't get the memo. Back at the house, I didn't go inside. Couldn't. Our little brick ranch, the one we painted blue together, felt like a stranger's now. Instead, I sat on the porch swing, the one we bought after our first miscarriage. We'd sit here, her head on my shoulder, dreaming about the kid we'd have someday. Yeah, right? I pulled out my phone, scrolled through old texts. Hers were all there, heart emojis. Miss you notes, reminders to grab milk. Lies, all of them? Or just some? I didn't know. That's what killed me. Not knowing. Emily's car pulled into the driveway an hour later. Headlights cut through the dark, and for a second, I thought she'd drive right past. Keep going. But she stopped. Got out. Her red dress looked crumpled now, her mascara streaked. She didn't come to the porch. Just stood by the car, arms crossed, staring at me. Tom, she said, her voice small, shaky. Can we talk? Talk? Now she wants to talk? I almost laughed, but it caught in my throat. Bitter. You had 10 years to talk, Em. Why now? She took a step closer, her heels clicking on the pavement. It's not what you think. Mark, he's just a friend. Client. I swear. Her eyes were pleading, but I'd seen that look before. When she forgot our dinner plans. When she worked late 3 nights in a row. I stood, the swing creaking behind me. A client you meet at a motel? A client you pay hundreds to? Come on, Emily. I'm not an idiot. My voice was calm, but inside, rage, hurt, a whole damn storm. She flinched, like my words were a slap. I didn't mean for it to happen. It just did. Her voice cracked, and she looked away, at the neighbor's porch light, at anything but me. Mark was helping me with a project. A big one. I thought it'd be our ticket, you know? Get us out of debt. Maybe buy that cabin you always wanted. Debt? Cabin? My head spun. We had debt, sure, credit cards, the mortgage, but she never mentioned a project. Or a cabin. So you paid him? With our money. I stepped closer, my voice rising despite myself. What kind of project needs a motel, Em? Her silence was louder than any answer. She hugged herself, shivering, though it wasn't cold. It wasn't supposed to go that far, she whispered. I got in over my head. He made me feel seen. Like I wasn't just a wife, a designer, a failure at... She stopped, biting her lip. Failure. The word hung there, heavy, like the air before a storm. Was she talking about the miscarriages? Her career? Me? I wanted to ask, but my pride wouldn't let me. Not yet. I pulled the locket from my pocket, held it up. Moonlight caught the silver, making it glint. This was for you. For us. Forever, it says. Funny, right? I tossed it onto the grass between us. It landed with a soft thud, and her eyes followed it, wide, like I'd thrown her heart instead. Tom, please, she said, stepping forward. I love you. I messed up, but I love you. Love. That word used to mean everything. Now it felt like a cheap sticker peeling off a bumper. Love doesn't do this, I said, my voice low, steady, like I was explaining a bad diagnosis to a customer. Love doesn't sneak around, lie, pay some guy for God knows. I paused, my throat tight. You broke us, Emily. Not me. Her sob broke the silence, raw, ugly. She sank to her knees, right there on the driveway, reaching for the locket. I didn't move, couldn't. If I went to her, I'd either hold her or scream, and I wasn't sure which was worse. The next morning, I woke up on the couch. Didn't sleep much, just stared at the ceiling, replaying her words. He made me feel seen. Seen? I saw her every day. Her messy hair, her burnt toast, her laugh that could light up a room. Wasn't that enough? Apparently not. I checked my phone. Texts from her. Sent at 2 a.m. I'm sorry. Please talk to me. I'll fix this. I didn't reply. Instead, I grabbed my keys and drove to the shop. Work was my refuge now, the one place where things made sense. Engines don't lie. They break, you fix them. Simple. But it wasn't simple. Mid-morning, my buddy Jake, the shop's tire guy, pulled me aside. You okay, man? You look like hell. I shrugged, wiping grease off my hands. Rough night. He raised an eyebrow but didn't push. That's the thing about guys like Jake. They know when to shut up. Unlike Emily, who was blowing up my phone now. Calls, voicemails, more texts. I ignored them all, but each one was a needle in my chest. Why couldn't I just block her? Why did I still care? Then I found it, tucked under a stack of invoices on my desk. A photo from our honeymoon. Hawaii, 2015. Emily in a sundress, me with a sunburn, both of us grinning like idiots. I stared at it, my thumb tracing her face. Was that woman gone? Or was she never real? I flipped it over, saw her handwriting on the back. Forever starts here. My eyes stung and I shoved the photo in a drawer. No time for this. Not now. By noon, I couldn't take it anymore. I opened her latest text. Meet me at Luigi's. 1 p.m. I'll tell you everything. Everything. That word scared me more than the motel. What was everything? More lies? More marks? But I went. Call it curiosity, call it stupidity. I walked into Luigi's, the same table by the window, the same candles. Emily was already there. No red dress this time. Just jeans, a hoodie, her eyes red from crying. She looked small. like the fight had gone out of her. "Tom," she said as I sat down, her voice barely above a whisper. "I owe you the truth." Truth. Funny how that word sounds so clean but cuts so deep. She leaned forward, hands clasped, like she was praying. "Mark isn't just a client. He's my boss. Was my boss. Was?" My jaw tightened. "Keep talking," I said, my voice cold, like I was sizing up a busted transmission. And then she did. What she said next changed everything. Emily's hands were trembling as she pushed a strand of hair behind her ear. The candles on the table flickered, throwing shadows across her face, making her look like a stranger. "Mark was my boss," she repeated, her voice barely holding together. He promised me a promotion, a big one, creative director, more money, more freedom. Everything we talked about, Tom. Paying off the house, maybe starting over somewhere new. Her words hit like a wrench to the gut. Starting over? With me? Or with him? I leaned back, arms crossed, trying to keep my face stone cold. "So you slept with him for a promotion?" My voice was sharp, like a spark plug misfiring. She winced, shook her head fast.
No.
"No, it wasn't like that. It got complicated. Complicated, right? If you're still listening, this is where it gets wild. Drop a comment. Share your thoughts. It keeps the story alive." She took a sip of water, her hands shaking so bad the glass clinked against her teeth. "Mark was charming. First, it was just work. Late nights on a pitch for this huge client. He said I had talent, said I could be more than just a freelancer scraping by. I believed him." She paused, her eyes darting to mine, then away. "He started texting me. Small stuff, jokes, compliments. Then it was coffee, then drinks. I didn't see it coming, Tom. I swear I didn't." Her voice cracked, and for a second, I almost felt sorry for her. Almost. But then I remembered the motel, her laugh, his arm. My jaw clenched so tight it ached. "So what about the money?" I asked, my voice low, steady, like I was diagnosing a leak. "The Venmo payments. Undreds, eminência. Our money." Her face crumpled, and she looked down at the table, tracing the grain of the wood with her finger. He said it was for expenses. Travel, dinners with clients. Said I'd get it back when the deal closed. I thought I was investing in us, in our future. Investing. The word tasted sour like bad coffee. "You paid him to take you to a motel?" I said, louder than I meant. A couple at the next table glanced over, but I didn't care. Let them stare. Emily's eyes filled with tears, but she didn't wipe them away. "It wasn't supposed to be like that. He pressured me. Said if I didn't play along, I'd lose the promotion, maybe my job." I was scared, Tom. Scared of losing everything we'd worked for. Scared? I wanted to scream. "You were scared. So you betrayed me?" But I didn't. I just sat there, letting her words sink in, heavy as a busted engine block. "So you played along," I said, my voice flat. "You went to the Starlight. With him." She nodded, barely, her shoulders hunching like she wanted to disappear. "It was one time. One stupid, awful time. I hated myself after. I wanted to tell you, but how could I? You're so good, Tom. So steady. I didn't want to break you." "Break me? Too late for that." My chest felt like it was caving in, but I kept my face blank. God, why was this so hard? "One time," I repeated, testing the words. "Then why the emails? The selfies? The babe?" Her mouth opened, but nothing came out. Just silence, thick and suffocating. That's when she reached into her bag and pulled out a USB drive. Small, black, the kind you'd miss if it fell out of your pocket. She slid it across the table, her fingers lingering like it was a bomb. "This is everything," she said, her voice barely a whisper. "Emails, texts, even the contract he had me sign. It's worse than you think." "Worse?" My heart thudded, a cold sweat prickling my skin. I took the drive, turned it over in my hand. Felt heavier than it should. "What's on it?" I asked, not sure I wanted the answer. She swallowed, her eyes locked on mine for the first time. Mark wasn't just my boss. He was running a side hustle. Freelance contracts off the books. He'd get designers like me to front the costs, travel, equipment, fake invoices. Said it was how the industry worked. I was stupid, Tom. I thought I was getting ahead, but I was just his mark. Her voice broke on the last word, and she looked away, tears spilling down her cheeks. A side hustle? Fake invoices? My head spun. Was she a victim or a liar? Or both? I leaned forward, my voice low. Dangerous. You're telling me you paid this guy our money for some shady deal and what? He seduced you to keep you quiet. She flinched but nodded. I didn't know at first. By the time I figured it out, I was in too deep. He had leverage. Said he'd tell the company I was stealing clients. I'd lose everything. Leverage. The word hit like a slap. I wanted to believe her, wanted to see her as the woman I married. Not this stranger. But the motel. The laugh. The red dress. Those didn't lie. I stood, pocketing the USB drive. I need time, I said. My voice rough, like I'd been yelling for hours. Don't call me. Don't text. Just don't. She nodded, her face a mess of tears and guilt. I'm so sorry, Tom, she whispered. I love you. There it was again. That word. Felt like a blade now, twisting deeper. I walked out, the USB drive burning a hole in my pocket. Luigi's fading behind me like a bad dream. Back at the shop, I couldn't focus. Wrenches slipped from my hands. Oil spilled on my boots. Jake noticed, kept his distance. Good man. I locked myself in the office and plugged in the USB. Files loaded, emails, texts, PDFs. She wasn't lying. Mark's messages were slick, manipulative, promising her the world while asking for more money. Contracts with her signature. But the terms? Shady as hell. Fake company names, offshore accounts. My stomach churned. This wasn't just an affair. It was a con. And Emily fell for it. Or did she? Was this another lie? One email stopped me cold. Mark to Emily, 3 weeks ago. Meet me at the Starlight. Bring the cash. We'll celebrate after. Celebrate. My hands shook as I read it again. Cash? What cash? We didn't have cash lying around. I checked our bank app, heart pounding, and there it was. A withdrawal. $5,000. From our savings. The money we'd been scraping together for a new start, maybe a kid someday. Gone. My vision blurred. Not from tears, but rage. Pure, white-hot rage. I drove home, the USB drive in one hand, the locket in the other. Emily was on the couch, wrapped in a blanket, eyes swollen. She looked up, hopeful, like I might forgive her. Tom. I cut her off, tossing the USB onto the coffee table. $5,000, Em? You gave him our savings. Her face went white, like she'd been caught all over again. I thought it was for the deal, he said. I didn't let her finish. Stop. Just stop. My voice was loud now, shaking the walls. You didn't just betray me. You sold us. For him. She sobbed, reaching for me, but I stepped back. The room felt too small, the air too thick. I'm done, I said, and the words felt final, like a door slamming shut. But as I turned to leave, something caught my eye. A letter on the counter, half hidden under a stack of bills. It was addressed to me in her handwriting. My heart stopped. What now? Another lie? An apology? Or something worse? I grabbed it, my hands trembling, and tore it open. What I read made my blood run cold. The letter was short, written in Emily's hurried scrawl, like she'd been afraid to linger on the words. Tom, I'm leaving. Not because I don't love you, but because I can't face what I've done. I'll fix this. Promise. Check the attic. My hands shook as I read it again, the paper crinkling under my grip. The attic? What the hell was in the attic? My heart pounded, a sick mix of dread and curiosity twisting in my gut. Emily was still on the couch, watching me, her face pale, like she knew what I'd find. I didn't say a word, just dropped the letter and bolted upstairs, my boots thumping on the steps. If you're still here, brace yourself. This is where it all unravels. Drop a comment, share your story, it keeps this channel going. The attic was a mess, a graveyard of old dreams. Christmas decorations, boxes from our first apartment, a crib we never got to use. The air smelled like dust and regret. I flicked on the light, a single bulb swinging from the ceiling, and scanned the room. Nothing stood out, just clutter. Then I saw it. A shoebox, tucked behind a stack of old magazines, labeled photos in her handwriting. My stomach dropped. Why was this so hard to open? I grabbed it, the cardboard soft and worn, and pried off the lid. Inside wasn't photos. Not even close. It was a stack of papers, receipts, bank statements, our bank statements, ones I'd never seen. Withdrawals I didn't authorize. Thousands more, not just the $5,000. 10, 15, maybe 20 over the past year. My knees buckled, and I sank to the floor, the box spilling across the dusty boards. There were notes, too, in her handwriting. Dates, amounts, and cryptic phrases like marks cut and final payment. My head spun. This wasn't just a con. This was systematic, like she'd been bleeding us dry. I stormed downstairs, the box under my arm, my heart hammering so loud I could barely hear my own thoughts. Emily was still on the couch, clutching that damn blanket like it could shield her. "What is this?" I demanded, tossing the box onto the coffee table. Papers scattered, some fluttering to the floor. Her eyes widened, but she didn't move, didn't speak. 20,000, eh? 20? You drained our savings for him? My voice cracked, the rage boiling over, hot and unstoppable. Who are you? She flinched, her hands twisting the blanket. I didn't want you to know, she whispered, her voice so small it barely reached me. I thought I could fix it before you found out. Get the money back. Make it right. Make it right? I laughed, a bitter, ugly sound. You think you can fix this? You sold our future. For what? Some sleaze who played you. Her sob was sharp, like a knife, but I didn't stop. Couldn't. You lied to me, every day. I love you. Every burnt piece of toast. Lies. She stood, shaky, her eyes red but fierce now. I didn't lie about loving you, Tom. Never. But I was drowning. The debt, the miscarriages, the pressure to be perfect. Mark saw that. He offered a way out. A way out, my fists clenched, nails biting into my palms. A way out that cost us everything? You didn't just betray me, You betrayed us. The word hung there, heavy, final. The life we built, the dreams we shared, gone. She reached for me, her hand trembling. I'm trying to fix it. That's why I gave you the USB. I'm done with him. I told him yesterday at the motel. I said I was out. Out? I stepped back, her touch burning like acid. You were laughing, Emily. Laughing with him. I saw you. Her face crumpled, and she sank back onto the couch. I was faking it, she said, her voice barely audible. I had to. He threatened to ruin me. My career, my reputation. Everything. Threatened. That word hit different. I wanted to believe her, wanted to see her as a victim, not a villain. But the box, the money, the motel, it was too much. I grabbed the USB from the table, my hands shaking. I'm taking this to a lawyer, I said, my voice low, steady, like I was torquing a bolt. And I'm done, done. Her sob followed me as I walked out, the door slamming behind me, the sound echoing like a gunshot. I drove to Jake's place, the only person I could think to turn to. He opened the door, took one look at my face, and handed me a beer. Rough day, he said, his voice easy but his eyes sharp. I nodded, collapsing onto his couch, the USB and locket still in my pocket. I told him everything, the motel, the money, the letter. He listened, didn't interrupt, just sipped his beer. When I finished, he leaned back, whistling low. Man, that's heavy. What's your next move? Next move? I didn't know. Part of me wanted to burn it all down. File for divorce, report Mark to whoever would listen. But another part, the stupid part, still saw Emily's face in that honeymoon photo, grinning in her sundress. Why couldn't I let that go? I need to know how deep this goes, I said finally. The USB, the money. If she's telling the truth, maybe there's something left to save. Jake raised an eyebrow but didn't argue. You sure you want to dig deeper? Might not like what you find. He was right, but I had to know. That night, I crashed at his place, the USB burning a hole in my pocket. I plugged it into his laptop, scrolling through more files. Contracts, emails, even audio recordings. Emily's voice, shaky, arguing with Mark. This isn't right, she said in one clip. I'm not doing this anymore. His voice, smooth and cold. You walk away, you lose everything. Think about Tom. My blood froze. He knew my name. This wasn't just a con. It was personal. The next morning I called a lawyer, a guy Jake knew from high school. He was blunt, chain-smoked Camels, but knew his stuff. This is fraud, maybe worse, he said, scanning the USB files. Your wife's in deep, but this Mark guy, he's the real problem. We can build a case, maybe get your money back. But divorce? That's your call. My call. The words felt like a weight I wasn't ready to lift. I thanked him, left his office, and drove to the lake, the one where I proposed. Sat there, staring at the water, the locket in my hand. Forever, it said. What a joke. Then my phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Meet me. Starlight Motel. 8 p.m. Come alone. My heart stopped. Mark. It had to be. My hands shook as I typed back. Who is this? No reply. Just silence. I looked at the locket, then the USB, then the lake. Every choice felt like a trap. Go and I might get answers, or worse. Stay and I'd never know. What would you do? Put yourself in my shoes. I made my choice. And what happened next? Changed everything. I know you've been through it with me, so let me know in the comments. What would you have done in my place? Hit that subscribe button for more stories like this.